Hey, welcome back. It's pretty good to see everybody here again. I went to that timber framing class a couple months ago and I saw something that I was really impressed with. It was called a Emirate Vise, and it's for pattern makers way back in the 1800s. It's a really good piece of equipment and it's pretty versatile. You can take this vise and you can spin it and you can turn it and you can put it at any angle you want, and it's pretty big and it's pretty heavy. So I've been scouring Craigslist and I found a couple of them over by where I lived, and I went out and I picked them up. Got a really good deal on them. There's a few problems with them, but we'll look through those and we'll make sure that we get those all taken care of. It shouldn't be that big of an issue. I found a couple good resources to where I could buy parts for it, have them manufactured, or maybe I can do it myself, who knows. But let's take a look at these things. These are pretty awesome. So here's the first beginning of me restoring these things. So this one here, from what I can gather, is kind of a later model. It was in the early 1900s that this was made, and it still seems to be in some pretty good shape. Some of the things that are problems, this is like some of the cast iron has been cracked off a little bit, but it still works and it still opens up. This lever here will open up the vise and allow you to turn it at different angles, which is pretty cool. So if we open it up a little bit, and you're working with something that's angled, you can push this lever and it'll open it up on there, so you can work with angled pieces of wood. It's got an attachment piece here, and it needs another bracket to mount under the table. Without that bracket, you're not going to be able to use it on a table. And that bracket looks like this. And then it's got another lever here that allows you to go up and down, so you can angle it differently on off of your workbench. And so this newer model here is missing one, but it looks like this one here came off of this newer one, because this isn't the original bracket that came with this version. So this one here is really neat. It's called a turtle head because it's got this shell casing over top of it, and it kind of looks like a turtle shell. So this thing was patented in 1891. I think they both were, actually. And then this one was built in either the late 1800s or the very early 1900s. The shape that this thing is in is absolutely amazing for being so old. Outstanding pieces of gear. Okay, so I guess what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to start the teardown process of these, and I will have those available so you can see them in a later video. So here you go. This is part one of my Emirate Pattern Maker's Vise rebuild. Let's open this one up and take a look inside and see what we have going on. One of the things that I noticed when I first picked it up was, if you look down here, it's missing one of the screws that goes in, and this top piece here had some weld spots on it. So I knew that this piece of iron or steel was put on afterwards, and it was welded on, and I didn't know why until after I got it home. And I'll open this up real quick and show you. If you have one of the earlier versions, you'll notice that the hole on this is a lot smaller. This is so you can actually pull it out with the handle, but there's a different handle on it now, so it's doesn't easily come off. So after getting this thing opened up, I noticed that there's a brazed weld here in the back and down in here. So what it looks like is that this had been just broken somehow. I don't know. They were probably using this claw here on the other side, and it broke off this whole piece here. So it's been welded back together, and I'll have to probably fix it down here on the bottom. But I'm not rebuilding this thing, or I didn't buy it in order to, have a vintage piece to restore and sell. I had this idea in my head of buying this so I could use it in my own workshop. So stuff like this, you know, being fixed because it was a tool that was actually used is more important to me than, you know, trying to buy something that's, you know, vintagely correct and accurate. And now that would be really nice to have all that stuff exactly original and no wears and tears and stuff like that. But let's just face it, things break over time, and if that's only damage that it's taken over the last 100 years, I'm good with that. So that's the real only damage that I found on this particular piece. There's not really rusted too bad or anything like that, and there's a lot of, you know, old mechanics still work on it. So I think if I can get this all mounted to a nice well-built workbench, I think it's really going to do a good job for us. So that's exciting. So there you have it. That's the insides of just the top part of the vise. You can take a look at the bottom part real fast so you can get an idea of what we're looking at here. So this piece here, it'll allow you to rotate this head 360 degrees. It's got a swivel on it down here, so you can open the vise up and you can actually turn it on your workbench, so you can get it to angle it any direction that you want. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more stuff like this, just go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will show you in a couple of weeks the rebuild of both of these really cool old Emirate Vises. So, all right, thanks again.